What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Beers and Breakdowns. As you can see, we got a guest, Ruben, with us today.
Yes, sir.
What up, homie?
What up? What up? Long time no see.
Sorry if you saw these shirts again. I know you don't recognize mine, but this one.
Oh, this little thing?
That little guy?
Jeez.
That makes a statement. That was on a previous episode or maybe on a future episode, depending on when Abel drops these, which is whenever he feels like it, because we all are on Abel's time.
This is true. People are going to think I just don't shower. It's just like, damn, this guy's homeless.
Like,
his favorite shirt.
Steak. Ruben's just another Riverside homeless guy. That's how we found him to come do the show.
Dude, I was off the street there just like, hey, bro.
Are you Mexican? Would you say you're Abel's cousin?
Right?
Hey, bro, you want a job? We're not going to pay you, though.
Comes with the free shirt. I was like, yes.
All right, so in this episode, we're going to be doing an amazing show, Band of Brothers. One of the best shows of all time. One of the best war shows in history. It's amazing. So this episode, we're on episode 3. 1 and 2, I think Kurt was with me for those. So welcome to episode 3.
Yes, sir.
One of them, I think I was just as scared as anybody else, except I could think.
It's a feeling you would not let yourself down, and you would not let your comrades or your unit down.
We all had fear, but we all had training to know that you try to handle your fear and work to accomplish what you're supposed to be doing.
Gosh damn, bro.
Every time that pumps me up, man.
Dude, these men just get me, dude. The best intro to a show in history. I love hearing these dudes talk.
Yeah, dude, it's just crazy too, because none of them, I feel like they got the people that don't play it up, you know. None of these guys were like, oh yeah, I wasn't scared of anything, you know.
That's my
it's like
comment.
No, they're super humble and it's cool because I think everybody has the idea that once you just throw on a uniform, all the cares go out the window. But it's no, everybody has
scared shitless,
you know,
dude.
you're scared of different things going wrong, you know, and then but you just have to have faith in your training and the guy next to you to make sure you're gonna do whatever you got to do. You know?
Yeah, and so it's such a stark contrast between some of these Green Berets out here now that are I literally kill people for a living. Do you not know who I am? And it's
Well, even the movies too, they always make it to where the people that are these action heroes and stuff, they're just all about it, just never fazed by anything. So it's kind of cool. You see the other side of some of these guys went through one of the craziest wars in history,
way more than
and then they're just we're terrified, but we got to do what you got to do. You got
to learn how to manage it and drive on. And to me, that's a real hero talking about his experience because he understands life. He understands that his audience is looking for knowledge and motivation and understanding of what it takes to get through that, instead of sometimes when you have these guys that get on social media and all they want to do is amp themselves up and make themselves look cooler and make themselves appear stronger and fitter and faster and cooler than you and put everybody else down by ramping up their achievements. And it's come on, dude. A real hero is humble and understands that he just got lucky a lot of the times. He was scared shitless, just tried to do the best he could to swallow that fear and to help out his brother to his left and his right. It's none of this bullshit this is what I do, I'm a killer, I kill them all, you know. And it's
because that's the thing is I feel and people talk like that, it's almost you're acting like you have control of the scenarios and stuff, and a lot of times you don't, and things change, you know. So sometimes the only thing you can do is control yourself and what you're in charge of, and that's all you can do. And you just gotta pray
and hope
that,
for the best.
Pray that everybody's doing what they gotta do too, and they're in the same mindset. You know,
absolutely.
So it's nuts, man.
Damn, it's so motivating to see those. Old guys
I'll tell you, the intros of these shows always just hit. You know, they always hit, man.
So once again, Lieutenant Winters just coming in clutch.
Yeah.
He may be Captain Winters by this point. I'm not sure. I think he did get promoted, but we'll just stick with Lieutenant Winters for the rest of the show.
Where he started.
Yeah. And in this, it's like people may not realize how comforting a ditch could be. It's like when bullets start flying past your head, all you want to, and you get a little bit of safety, just a little bit. The last thing you want to do is jump out of that and like into gunfire. So it's not like these soldiers are being cowards. It's just like, hey, this spot is 5% better than that. So can we just stay the fuck here? And sometimes you get stuck in that mindset of just trying to keep in the safest spot as possible, and you forget that other soldiers are on the line and you have to go support them, and it's hard to pull yourself out of that and like get over what feels like a wall to start moving again. And Lieutenant Winters just comes in clutch, like yelling at him, putting his own life in the line.
Standing up to like coax him into it. Like that takes a lot of stones. You know? I do like in this, like the way they filmed it, it's like super gritty. In most like action films and stuff, you'll have like, you know, Lieutenant Winters come out in slow-mo and just like come out, but it's like, you know, it's really like gritty. Everything's loud, you know, people are scared, because I feel like this is a better representation of like, you know, like stuff's popping off and obviously you're just trying to like react, you know. So I really like the way they filmed like this whole scene, you know, and then you got that one guy like freaking out because it's gonna happen, right? There's gonna be like a person that's probably not gonna like take as well to the environment that you know others do, you know. So like, yeah, Winters, you know, calm, cool, collective. Hey, like we got to get this done. Like you need that guy. You know?
And is he scared? Absolutely.
Yeah, he's probably scared out of his mind. Yeah,
like he's standing up in the middle of it, like in the worst spot possible. But he knows that his guys are out there ahead that need your support, so he's got to get you motivated and start pulling you out of the hole. And honestly, if I was in that hole, I'd be trying to stay there too. But it's Winters standing up, showing that like, hey, you could survive out here and you need to keep going. I'm up here pulling you out, and you're making me stand here longer by staying in that hole. Yeah. So now you're putting me at more risk by staying in that hole. So it's like your heroism is encouraging me to move forward.
And it's kind of symbolic too, because he's like standing up to do the right thing. Like I think that's why they even put it like that. They even did the camera angles where he's like standing tall, reaching down for like the rest of the people. Yeah. And like I feel like they purposely did that to show like, look, he's like standing up for doing something, versus these other guys were like, not to say they're cowards, right? No, but it's just that they're like they're like trying to hide because they're scared, right? But you can't be scared to like fight, you know. Like in this situation you have to do it, you know. Yeah. So I really, like I said, the whole cinematography was great.
Right. They just took the best tactical position possible. It's like, hey, we're taking contact, take cover. They took cover. The hard part is now, hey, it's not subsiding. Therefore, we have to now bound while still taking fire.
Yeah, you got to run towards the fight.
Yeah, you have to run. You have to expose yourself and run towards it, and that is a huge gut check. Yeah, that requires sometimes one solid person, maybe multiple, to dig deep in that moment and say, okay, it's got to be me. I'm the one that has to get my men moving, and that's what he did. And Blythe, his whole story is just beautifully portrayed throughout this episode, from falling in, landing by himself, being alone, and kind of his mindset starting to shift towards, I'm in this alone, like I have no more brothers. And so his body almost starts to shut down and like not want to sacrifice itself anymore. It's like he's only trying to survive. He's not trying to win. He only wants to survive.
I feel like it's like a mental state, you know? And I feel like sometimes people don't realize how much your psyche controls like what you do, your body, and the way you react to stuff. So you are right. Like it's crazy because I think like he was getting his head where it's kind of like, you know, like just like you said, shelter, get to safety, worry about yourself, because he's in it alone, you know.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that started just because of the way they got screwed over in the airborne op, landed separate, didn't have any camaraderie, and now you're just off literally by yourself. It's like your situation's confirming that you're alone in this. Yeah. And there's no more brother next to you. You're in there by yourself, and it's like all of a sudden all that camaraderie just disconnects, and then you go in survival mode. So he went from a sear evasion, like an evasion mentality, and then suddenly got thrusted back into a fight mentality, and he couldn't make the mental shift. And later in the episode we'll see that his mind actually starts to like close him out of that mentality, and it's like, no, just survive, and we'll just shut you down if we have to. Oh, shit. Oof. So this situation is crazy because you're going from like an open field into like a small, really small little city, and there's so many angles to cover. Like one guy feels like he's behind cover and he's popping out and shooting back at that machine gunner, and then a sniper hits him from a completely different angle. So these guys are trying to cover like 5 different angles at the same time, and you're not able to do that. It's just there's certain times in combat when if you can't cover all the angles, then you just have to accept a certain amount of exposure. And honestly, I found that more often to happen as a police officer, because it's like we don't have a team. You know, I'm going in with maybe a partner, could be by myself. So all of a sudden, instead of covering all the angles, I'm now accepting that all these angles are potential dangers and saying, okay, this is my most likely danger. You know,
it's kind of like a gamble. You're like,
exactly.
I'm betting this is where they're going to be coming, coming from. That's crazy, man.
So this scene is just crazy and then my initial thought is, okay, we got to get in, we got to flow in, and we got to take over these houses so then we can start gaining some high ground and start owning these buildings, right? And that proves to be the wrong choice.
I did like that. Like in this scenario, though, even the, them like calling out like the points of contact, because even with everything going on, they were still like communicating, like, they're like, hey, take this sniper out. And then even afterwards, this guy like took out the machine gunner, and he had to like take a breath, remember his like training, and then take him out, And I feel like it's crazy because it's like you're expected to do that in this chaos, it's like, and so I don't know, it's just crazy because even looking at it, even though I know it's just a show, it's like people did this, day in, day out. Like, that's insane.
That's why I think it was such a smart decision to have the actual vets in the front, because it's like
there's more credibility to it.
It's like that's the dude that did this. Like he was actually there.
Yeah,
I'm watching this like this is horrifying. This is an amazing show.
Yeah.
But you always remember back to that dude in the beginning talking to you, being like shit was scary, and it's like, oh yeah, that was him. And it's like, damn, it's so insane. That's why this show is just level 10.
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
good.
And like it shows, like I said, it just shows how gritty this stuff was, man. Like it's, what I mean? Like nobody would like this as a fighting, area for just like all the buildings, like you said, and then the horrible setup that you would have to go against. It sucks. Like you know it's gonna suck. You
got angles here. So let's say the first floor, that's one angle. Second floor is an angle. If you got a third floor, that's another angle. Now you have an angle over here, first, second, third. So there's just far too many angles for you to cover the way we're taught to cover them. So now you're just accepting that if the guy's over here, I'm dead. I'm going to choose this one. You're just guessing.
And the enemy had time to set up where you're trying to infiltrate like their area, which is like
they're dug in fighting
you already
positions.
know, like you already know you're at a disadvantage. Like I don't know, it just sucks. It's just crazy to think like they had to do this day in, day out, and just be like, all right, tomorrow's a different like freaking skirmish. It's crazy.
And then it ends up getting worse. So my plan when I first watched it, I was like, again, flow in, take control of the buildings. Ends up what they end up doing.
I
can't even come close to that now without hearing Abel in my back of my head going doo-doo.
Start that. Kurt started that.
Kurt started it. That's what it is. But so they did what I would have done.
Yeah.
Or essentially I would have done what they did, and it ends up being a mistake. And it's funny because Abel mentioned that before when we filmed this episode the first time after he deleted it, before he deleted the whole thing.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
just
crazy.
Hours of work down the drain.
That's crazy.
I only mentioned it 16,000 times. I forgot.
Yeah, it was the first time we're mentioning it live.
Yeah, they need to know too.
That
they need to know why you're taking up my time as well. Why you were late and why you deleted an episode.
About how lazy I am. I promise you didn't do it.
It's crazy because to delete it takes effort. Yeah. And that you showed up and you're like, yeah, let me delete.
He'll show up and he's like, fuck all that work. I don't want to remind myself that I did something. That's annoying. It pisses me off.
He's like, oh, I accomplished it. Oh, I don't like that.
Delete it. But what Abel did mention in the time that he actually worked that one time was that like how much more tactics experience these guys had to have given their limited equipment.
Yeah,
so like they don't have body armor, they don't have the weapon systems we have, they don't have the aircraft that we have. Like we have so much more than them that they're essentially going into fights as Americans at a disadvantage as to where for the past 22 years, we've gone into every single combat situation with an astronomical advantage. We own the night, we own the sky, we have the technological advances, we have the training. We're fighting a force that's not equal to our own. Yes, they have an advantage in the guerrilla warfare tactics that they've been using for generations against Russia and against all these people. And I'll give them that. You know, Afghanistan fighters are no cowards by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, they're pretty brave, considering that they're going against Americans and still having the balls to do it. But we're so used to going in knowing like we're gonna win this fight.
Yeah, I think resource-wise, like you have a plethora of resources.
Right.
To, like, you know,
it's like we may lose a soldier or two, but we're gonna win. There you go.
Get out of there! Go! Get the hell out of the street! Go!
Yeesh. That noise. Woof.
yeah.
So this just showed that my plan, if I was like, oh, this is what I would have done, would have bombed, literally.
Yeah. Like,
Because so it was a good plan by the Germans because they already had the that little town. They already had it pre-bracketed by the mortars. So whoever got left was essentially just like sacrificed.
Which sucks, man, because that's like they're just pawns to draw them in. That was it. Like,
so they're just to draw them in, and then you could tell that they were already pre-bracketed. Because if you're bracketing somebody with a mortar, there's time that it takes for a mortar to go up, especially depending on the size of the mortar. So obviously a 60 is going to have less hang time than an 80, right? Because the larger round is going to travel farther. So you know, if they're going to, especially if they have 120s or whatever round they're using, it has splash time. And splash time is the time it takes to leave the tube before it hits the ground. So if you're bracketing someone in, you need the splash, which is the impact of the round on the ground, in order to adjust fire, right? So if they were in the process of bracketing them, it would be splash. They would call out the spotter would see where the splash hit, call the adjustments to the gunner. He would make the changes on the site and then send another one. And then they have to wait, splash out, splash. And then so it takes time. So it's more like doof. And then wait, 15 seconds or so, doof. That's how you know they're working on bracketing you. But when it comes in, doof, doof, doof.
So they already zeroed you in, basically.
They're already bracketed you in. They already know your coordinates. So it's a pre-planned attack. So then it's just shunk, shunk, shunk. And that's a really bad spot to be in.
It just sucks, man, because like they're like you said, they're drawing them in with that, so it's a trap that's already set, and of course all these guys just got to deal with it. Like, hey, bro, okay, like this circumstance just changed, so now what? It's just like it's insane, dude. Like,
once mortar fire comes in, it's luck. There's nothing tactical you could do to avoid it. It's like they already bracketed you. You can't leave the danger zone. It's too wide of an area. You could start running out as fast as you want and just be just as unlucky out there because the round is a breeze could push the round off just enough that changes it 50 meters.
That's insane, man. It's like, taking your chances. You're like, what do I do? Do I go leave this or just stay hunker down?
And that decision, as random as it is, there's no tactical right choice, but whatever you do decide to do could mean the decision of life and death. So it's like I could sit here and wait, but this could be the spot that the round hits. I could run, but then that could be the spot. So when it comes to being mortared, which I'm telling you, my first deployment, all we did was get mortared and recoilless rifled, like constantly. It's just luck. There's no smart tactical decision. And that is a really place because we like to think that at least I could hedge my bets, use tactical experience to increase my chances. But when it comes to being mortared, there's just no way to do that. You're just hoping you get lucky.
Yes, sir? Is it safe to cross now? What's that, sir? Is it safe to cross? You want to move the wounded? Yes, sir. Okay. Come on, let's get him out of here.
Oh, shit.
Yo, to me, that's one of the greatest scenes in like cinematic history, dude. It's like Lieutenant Winters is literally standing in the walkway that you're afraid to cross, and then they're like, "Is it safe to cross?" And you're like, he's like, "What?" And he looks at his buddy. He's like, "Wait a minute, is it safe to cross the spot that I'm standing in right now?" He's like, "I believe so." And then so the guys cross, and then he gets shot.
Yeah, like I'm saying, just like the irony of it.
The irony of it's hilarious. They were safe to cross, but he wasn't.
But I love the way he like just took it, and he's like, and he has that look like, damn it, like he's zipping it up, like what a boss, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, he's such a gangster, dude. He's such a gangster, and that was such a beautiful scene. The irony of it, the comedy in it, and it was so funny. And it's like my team sergeant actually took a ricochet to the leg, and he was fine. He just kept. We were assaulting an objective, and we ended up not realizing that an enemy fighter was right next to us.
oh, shit.
And so one of the commandos saw him, and we didn't. So we're stacked on the wall. One of the Abel may be able to post the video. Maybe we'll link the video up to the top. So you
If
can
he
see.
doesn't delete it.
If he doesn't delete this. Oh, here he goes.
Yeah,
you go.
now he woke up. Now he woke
Has
up.
his feelings hurt.
Now, yeah. Now, look, he said,
So Abel could link the video, and it shows what happened. But there's a wall. An enemy fighter runs up to the wall. We're stacked on the wall. And then the doorway's right here. Right here. So he's right here. We're right here. We don't know that we're basically back to back with the enemy.
imagine this guy was just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I can work all of them right now. Like, dude.
So the commando sees the enemy fighter that's like 3 feet from him and freaks out and starts just blasting. And he shoots the wall, and the wall ricochets and hits my team sergeant in the leg. And my team sergeant starts hopping like, what the like his leg just got hella hot.
Dude, it's just funnier because it's like he's just like legit like, what is going on right now, bro? Just hear gunshots, like not even in your direction.
Yeah.
And you get hit.
Yeah.
Like that's what just made me laugh with this. It's like there's just like one random gunshot. There didn't seem like there was anything going on, and like this dude just took it to like, yeah. He's like, cool.
And that's what it was. He took a ricochet. Dude, I love that scene so much.
Yeah.
You can't see? I think so. I can't see a thing.
Will you just take it easy, Blythe? I'm gonna get you out of here. Get you back to England. It's gonna be okay.
Sure.
Yeah, what is it?
Thank you, sir. I'm okay.
All right, so Blythe gets temporary blindness from being overwhelmed. And then this scene is just amazing to me because Lieutenant Winter's coming in and telling him that it's okay, we're going to send you home. In my opinion, what happened was when he jumped in by himself, he started getting this mindset that he was all alone, right? And so he became just out for himself. Like, I have to survive. I can't worry about anybody else. I'm worried about myself. And so he got so stressed out and overwhelmed that his body started to shut down. He got this like stress-induced blindness.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Lieutenant Winters comes in and says, it's okay.
That's all it took. Yeah.
It's all it took for him to be like, oh shit, I'm not in this alone. Like, I'm with him. Like, I'm with Lieutenant Winters. He just said, I'm here for you. So it was like Lieutenant Winters reached back in and pulled him out of this like dark, alone abyss that he was in by himself and said, I'm here for you. And instead of doing it in combat, that's not what Blythe needed. Blythe needed a friend, somebody that said, I care about you. And so, in my opinion, Winters came in and said, I care about you. I don't need you to go out and risk your life anymore. Like, if what you need is to go home, I give you approval as a from man to man.
Like, there's no shame in it. Yeah.
Right. There's no shame in it. You can go home. And as soon as he did that, he gave Blythe someone to fight for. And now Blythe decided he wanted to stay.
And, you know, it's like genius on Winters' as part too, because you know deep down inside he's probably frustrated because he's like, dude, I need every guy I can get, you know. But the whole thing is that he's kind of a genius because he's like telling him like, hey, it's okay, send him home. Because in a way, if Blythe couldn't bring himself out, he's more of a liability.
Absolutely.
At that, you know. So it's kind of like, hey, you got a way out. Like, you can live at peace with it. And in a way, I kind of think like what hit home for Blythe was just saying like, hey, we'll get you back home to London. Kind of like, you'll go home while we all stay here. Like, and so like, I think it is a mix of like having something to fight for, but then also coming to that realization, like, yeah, I'm going to go home and they're going to be like, hey, like, what happened? Did you get, you got hurt? You got shot?
Yeah.
No, like,
That's a good
like,
point.
so I don't know. I feel like it's a mix of both, and it's kind of like you're gonna have to live with that, bro. Like, you're gonna, I know people that like avoided trying to go to deployments and stuff, and then once we got back, they had to face us, So it's just kind of like a weird thing where it's like, yeah, bro, like, where were you, And so I feel like having to face that and living with that is gonna be like horrible, right? Because it's like, damn, like. It's, I don't know, man. That's how I feel. At least I feel like kind of like less like I didn't do everything all the people to the left and right did. So it's like I'm kind of like selling it short or something,
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's a mixture of both. And I think that given his disconnection from everybody and separating from his unit and feeling that he was so alone, made him feel like I don't have anyone to compare to. They're not with me, so I don't care what they have to go through. I have to get home.
Yeah.
And then once Winters was like, "It's okay, dude. It's okay," and it's like all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I have you now.
Yeah.
You just showed me that person that now I'm gonna have to forever realize that I left hanging," and all of that it just came through and was like, "No, I'll stay."
Because you do have a point. I think like when you're in a unit, you guys are training together, working out together, developing like your skills of whatever job you have together, and then so to just go and get like thrown into somebody else's unit, it's like you don't have that camaraderie that built up yet. The only thing that you have is like we share the same uniform, so I care about you, but not to that extreme. So
all the connections I have are somewhere else.
Exactly.
Gone.
Yeah.
Like I want out of here. I'm in survival mode. They left me. Now I need to get away. I need to get home because all my people are gone.
Yeah.
They're all fighting somewhere else. I didn't find them. They're gone. So I just thought it was such a powerful moment. And if any of this is like actually happen, like Winters is my hero.
Yeah.
Like if this isn't like the most exaggerated character ever, and like maybe they took, and by that I kind of think that sometimes we'll take in order to tell a story, we'll take a lot of people's stories,
make it into a character,
and make it into one character. If this was a real character, if Winters actually did like all these things, the guy's one of the best men to ever exist.
Oh, for sure. He's like the man's man, the hero, bro. Like,
he's the total package.
Yeah.
And to me, this is what the total package looks like. It doesn't look like a steroided guy with face tattoos saying, get out there, pussy.
Yeah.
To me, the total package looks like Lieutenant Winters.
And
empathy.
And the other thing
remorse.
Too is like always yelling, right? Always like critiquing.
Yelling,
yeah, like I said, his character, like you kind of hit it on the head, where it's like you'll see him like have different sides, and he'll connect with people in different ways. So like him showing like kind of like compassion, right? That's something that most people are like, oh, you're in the military, you just yell, get it, So like no, sometimes that's all you need, Like everybody's style of leadership is different, and with his, it's like people could just look up to him by what he does, not what he has to like force them to do, you know. So it's different,
He's literally curing people of stress-induced illnesses because of his compassion.
Yeah.
And his bravery.
You know why you hid in that ditch, Blythe? I was scared. We're all scared. You hid in that ditch because you think there's still hope. But Blythe, the only hope you have is to accept the fact that you're already dead. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll be able to function as a soldier's supposed to function.
Yeah, it's kind of a
That not at the end.
not exactly a pick me up. Winters was like, whoa, what the did you say? Like, Winters like, no, don't say that, bro.
There's the contrast between leadership styles.
That's what's cool is it shows it. It shows it right there. This guy's like, you're already good.
This guy's not wrong. He's not a dick. He's just a different leader. And he doesn't know Blythe. Blythe is not his soldier. He doesn't know the mentality. He doesn't know what he's been through. Blythe's trying to gain acceptance for what he did. So he's confessing. And it just shows how much shit has happened. Because look at, Blythe is confessing cowardice, essentially, right?
Right.
And what does the one guy do? He goes and goes back to sleep. It's so much going on, and there's so much heroism and cowardice, and every person has probably been coward in one moment and hero in the other themselves. So when he hears the story of Blythe, he literally goes, shut
It's just crazy
and
because
goes
like
back to
yeah,
sleep.
there's no consolement or like oh we've all been there like,
Right. It's like-
just not even a shred of like understanding. It was just kind of like he's like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, and it's like crazy, bro. It's like this guy's gonna watch your back. Like
Yeah.
I would want to make sure he's in a good headspace. I would be like,
But
okay, you know, like I don't know.
It just shows how severe their situation was. It's like a man opening up about his failures. One man, it's not even worth waking up for. He just goes back to sleep.
He literally turned, bro.
It's
Just his face where he's just like, oh, you're trying to talk to me right now.
no.
Like, it's like,
You're
fuck,
wasting
bro.
my time. Because they're like, yeah, everyone's had that moment where they're a coward. You know,
Can
it's
you
like,
imagine this guy's opening up his like something so impactful on his life, and then like the guy's like, yeah. oh, you think I give a He's like, no, like, dude, that's insane, bro.
yeah, don't talk to me about it. And then the sergeant's like, let me tell you some truth. And then instead of being like, you're a pussy or you're a coward, he's just like, you still hold on to hope. But that's just a different approach to look at
like, it
getting
started
through.
off good. He was just like, we're all scared, you know?
Yeah.
And then with that, that's all you should have had to say. And then he'd be like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
And we all got to do our part, you know?
Yeah.
Instead, he just kept going down the rabbit hole. It's like, except that you're already dead. Well. He's like, I'm not trying to do that. So that's why I hit him, you know? It's like, I don't know, bro.
I was telling Abel, I was like, my buddy Tom, in combat, he would be like, we were going to go do this mission where there's two guys sleeping with AKs, and they were bedding down for the night. And so I was like, hey, why don't we just hit them with the aircraft and then go so we can go to sleep? And then my team sergeant was like, no, let's go shoot them. I was like, that's stupid, but okay. Like, why risk our lives when we have to fight all day tomorrow too? And you could just call in the aircraft airstrike, and these guys will be dead in like 30 seconds. We can go to sleep and get like an hour of sleep before tomorrow, you know? And instead he's like, no, let's go kill him. Like okay, hero. John Rambo over here. And so after I said that, he like ripped me a new asshole about how like it's not a good idea. And I was like, okay. And I look at my buddy Tom, I was like, what are we doing, dude? And he's like, no, man, it's a good idea. Let's do it, man. If it's our time, it's our time. And I was like, whoa, what? Like, I don't like that T-shirt. That just that may help you, but that doesn't help me. I want a Lieutenant Winters that's like, come on, man, we could do this. Like, I like the positivity thing, you know, not like the doom and gloom. But for some people, it works. For Tom, not anymore. Like, he had his kids and his life has changed, his mindset's changing. But at the time, he was very much, hey, man, if it's our time, if we're dead, we're already dead. And so that mindset really helped him not think about the consequences. So this sergeant is just a representation of how some people function better in combat. It's like some people like to hold on to every last bit of hope. I feel like I'm that kind of guy. Like, I want to hold on to the 1% chance I could win a gunfight in a really bad situation. And some people will just want to accept the 99% so that way they don't feel they're at a disadvantage. So it's just whether your glass is half empty or half full, it's a way of acknowledging what is.
Yeah. I don't know, like I said, just the way he was so calm and cool and collective saying it, it was just like made it creepy and scary. You're like, well, yeah, bro. He's like a walking Edgar Allan Poe poem, you know? He's just like a cloud of gray, you know?
Like, he's done some creepy
That's
shit.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You could just tell this guy is not fazed by shit, which is good. But it's like, yeah, like you said, I think Blythe was like, you know, pouring his heart out, and all he got was just like, well, you're already dead, so it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. It's a different approach.
Come on, Clyde! Stand up! Get up on your seat, soldier! Get up, Clyde! That's right, Clyde! You can do it! Fire your weapon, Clyde!
God, I love that scene. I love that scene so much. And my theory is that Lieutenant Winters was not there.
Oh, that was like his subconscious, like telling him to get out of that dark place. That whole, I'll tell you, the cinematography is crazy too, because even it shows it like the angle,
The
of
way
him,
that
like,
he puts
ascending.
his hand in,
Yeah,
and like it's not like Blythe, like a real world. It's like a comforting hand that's here to save him. And so I think that hand is representative of when he reached out and touched his shoulder when he was blind. So it was Winters reaching out to pull him back in,
right,
and to say, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And then that hand in his mind reached back out to grab his shoulder and say, fight for you, fight for me. And it was Winters who brought him out. Again, so I think the only reason he went back to combat and didn't leave is for Winters only. And so when he was in his worst moment, it was Winters' hand that came out and Winters' voice that repeated in his head that gave him the courage to find his inner warrior and to fight.
I think it's I think that's a strong argument because he was almost. It was cool because they were showing the parallels of like that other scene where he just didn't get out, you know. So this was almost going to be the same exact thing, you know. So it's just cool that that's all he needed, that voice or that subconscious to like make him stand up.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing is it's like the act of standing up for yourself and for the other people. So like that's why I loved like the way they filmed it, and then him firing. Granted, I don't know how good his shots were because he's just like going, you know, he's going John Rambo on it. You know, he's like, but the act of doing it is actually like, you know, like standing up is it was just so good. And like I said, that's just good even if it wasn't a war movie, just to see the character, you know, finally like what is it, like face his fear, you know.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is just cool. It's like a good like ascension, you know, for the character. It was awesome.
And we won't show it, but because we're gonna end it here. But the Blythe ends up volunteering to do something very heroic, and then gets shot.
Yeah.
And in real life, it shows at the end that Blythe died from his injuries.
I will say though, like, you know, obviously nobody, you know, like you know, everybody was afraid, everybody's like doing stuff, but the fact that he volunteered for it, and you know, he got shot doing it, but it's like he got shot standing up for himself, or like with that pride of like actually doing something. So I think it's cool, like for the fact that like at the end of the day he was able to like face that fear head on, you know. And I think that if we're gonna go out, because everybody has to go out sometime, at least he did it on his own terms, you know. And I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's just that I'm just vibing what you're saying because it reminds me of that quote. It's like, I'd rather die a hero than live a coward.
Right.
I think that's how it goes. I'd rather die. I think it's die a hero than live like a coward. And that's exactly what happened to him. He had the choice to live like a coward. And the moment Winters reached out and said, it's okay, man, you could live like a coward if you want, he said, nah.
Yeah.
Knowing that the chances of him dying was like 95%, given how shitty the situation was.
Yeah, and he even said, he's like, yeah, you could go back home.
You can go home. You could live.
Like, I'm telling you, man, that it takes like a special kind of person to say like, yeah, I'm gonna leave you with like this terrible scenario. Like, I'm not gonna help. You know.
Essentially, I'm gonna leave you to die.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn my back on you and let you just like handle this alone. Like I said, I mean, everybody can say what they want, but like I think when the time comes, 9 times out of 10. People will do kind of like that, like where it's just like, nah, like I because you have to live with that. You have to live with like ditching that whole like effort of trying to like stop these people and stuff, and then you're just like gonna go home and chill,
right?
Like, you know, and then everybody's gonna be saying, hey, oh, didn't you go out there? You're like, yeah. They're like, oh, what sent you home? Well, you know, like I chose to go home. Like that's crazy, you know.
You know what's crazy is I truly believe that everyone has the hero in them.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Everyone has it, and I think where soldiers are lucky is that they got the chance to prove that. And that's not soldiers that got shot at. That's not soldiers that been in combat. That's soldiers that signed up because knowing that, did you accept that you can get shot at when you signed up? 100%.
Yeah.
So every soldier that signed up said, when I sign this paperwork, I could die. For sure. 100%. So it doesn't matter what job you did. You signed up knowing that cooks have been killed in Afghanistan. Any MOS has been killed in Afghanistan. So instead of ranking yourself as I was CAG or I was a cook, stop putting yourself on this spectrum and say that you signed up knowing that it could mean the end of your life. And I think that everyone has that hero inside of them, and soldiers are just lucky that we get to say we put it to the test.
Right, because everybody can say what they want. Oh man, I would die for this country. I love this country so much. I would do whatever. But it's like it's different when you're actually serving the country and you like exactly. You're like, all right, cool. I got this country for X amount of years, you know. And people can say what they want. Like some people do it for different reasons, but like at the end of the day, that comes with it, you know. If like if they say, hey, you know, this war popped off here, or this whatever, it is part of like that, and you're gonna agree to do that job in any circumstance, you know. And so you're absolutely right.
And I don't think civilians are less. I think no, in any way. I'm not putting down civilians because obviously, so we need civilians to do all the jobs and to do all these things. So I'm not saying civilians are less than. What I'm saying is, soldiers are lucky, and blessed in the fact that they were able to put that to the test.
Right.
And say, I have that little hero in me, and I'm gonna go, and I believe I do, and I'm gonna confirm it. And we're blessed in the fact that we're able to confirm it.
Yeah.
As to where a lot of people will, you know, sit in their life at some point or other and go, I feel like I have the hero in me and I try to do the right thing, which doing the right thing could come in so many different ways. Being a good father, being a good husband, sticking up for somebody, sticking up for someone that's being bullied. That hero comes in so many shapes and sizes that anybody, so I take that back, anybody, even soldier or not, when you're given an opportunity to put that to a test, that's a blessing. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that episode. I'm going on a rant again. Thank you so much for coming back, man.
Of course,
these guys love you.
No, I appreciate you guys' feedback, because if not, I would have been fired. So that's you guys gave me a job, so I appreciate that. I was just off the street.
We're not paying them, though, so just pump the brakes on calling it a job. Don't take it too far.
That's right. You're right.
I ain't paying for that shirt. That shit looks expensive.
Hey, wait
bro.
till you guys see. I'll bring a more outrageous one next time, I promise.
You guys don't realize it, but your comment section influences the state of this channel. We brought Ruben on, had a great time, but you guys were like, Ruben's the man. Ruben's the man. Ruben's the man. Ruben's the man. Bring him back. And here he is. I called my wife and she was like, who's at the house? And I was like, oh, it's Ruben's over. And she's like, oh, he's awesome. And I was like, dude, everyone falls in love with these guys.
Hey, bro.
Like, stay away from my wife.
Yeah, it's the wolf smile, bro. He said stay away from Hey, I was just trying to get a yap.
Yeah, she likes white boys, all right? Pump the brakes. She's brown, but she don't like brown boys. All right, we appreciate you guys. Thank you, Ruben, and we'll see you on the next one.